So, in the world of live streaming, it's become huge. And a lot of people do it now, whether that's with gaming or various other things. There's all sorts art, talking, politics, you name it. There's anything in streaming. But there's one thing that kind of has taken over quite a fair bit, and it's called in-real live streaming. So instead of watching a vlog on YouTube, instead of watching, say, Casey Neistat, you are watching someone's life as it happens. So in other words, if someone flashes their tits on the camera, there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. So it's kind of more of a risk to get banned if you're doing it on Twitch and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, it blew up. A lot of streamers, Ice Poseidon for one, Asian Andy, you name it, a bunch of people do it. Now, beginning of last year, I think, a platform came out of nowhere. And the platform was called Kick. Now, this was started because Twitch was taking 50%. I still think they are taking 50% of people's revenue. So they used to take 50%, still are. And this was a big complaint about people. You know, people were sick and tired, getting annoyed at the fact that they're losing a lot of their money on, having to pretty much pay it to Twitch all the time. So people got together, Stake, which is a gambling company that is endorsed by Drake and many other artists. Now, I don't know whether I'm not really going to get into Stake. I'd be here all day. However, Stake decided to found Kick. Kick is a live streaming service like we haven't seen before. Mixer. Cough, cough. Anyway, Kick has survived a year, hopefully surviving 2 years. However, it's kind of spawned some assholes. Aiden Ross is a streamer who decided to move there purely because he got banned on Twitch. But many other streamers who have either been banned on Twitch or they just want to be paid better decide to move to this platform. Kick has kind of created a bad reputation for itself. In fact, it was a very good thing for a lot of creators. It was like, oh, wow, you 95% we get to keep and the 5% goes to Kick. That's really good. That is a extremely good thing. Now, I don't know whether that's money laundering. I'm not going to get into the how on earth that is profitable. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. It's them. It's there to deal with, However, a lot of streamers have come, in real life streamers to be more specific, like Neon, Aiden Ross, no, not Sneeko yet, FusiTube, a lot more. But there's one that sticks out quite a lot. And his name is Jack Doherty. Jack Doherty. Now, this guy he's been pretty known for a while in the live streaming community and YouTube community. He used to years ago do YouTube pranks and pretty much YouTube in the olden days. I say the olden days, it wasn't that long ago, to be honest with you. It's like 2015, 2016, which is actually quite a long time ago, but God, that's really making, wow, time flies. Anyway, he used to do them pranks, like hiding in Walmart and, doing stupid shit to piss people off. But back then, a lot of people didn't really look at it as like, oh, wow, this guy's an asshole. But he was a pretty smart kid. While, yes, he did do stupid shit, then again, I can't really fault the guy. He was young. And a lot of YouTubers did it as well. So, yeah, it looks like he was just a pretty guy who was, a pretty annoying guy back then who just, copied people. And it's no surprise. However, Jack Doherty has really annoyed people and just damn right has become the biggest prick within the live streaming community. In fact, a lot of people hate this guy. He used to be Sneeko, but somehow a lot of people have forgot about him. But Jack Doherty decided to do something yesterday that I think was incredibly stupid and genuinely one of the worst things I've ever seen. And the fact that he incriminated himself here. Now, I've heard some people say this is purely for content, and he's purely done the, well, it definitely is for content, but he crashed his McLaren. Now, the way he crashed it was very kind of annoying, to be honest with you. A beautiful car like that, absolute crashed. And the thing that annoys me about Doherty with this whole thing, the guy was on his phone. He was fixated on his phone, and you can quite clearly see it if you want to pull up the video. He's fixated on his phone. I don't know whether he's reading chat or he's reading a text message or whatever he's reading. Really doesn't matter. He's glued to his phone for quite a few seconds, and he's got one hand on the wheel. Now, what makes this even worse is the weather conditions are pretty poor. It is raining. The weather is, let's just say, not in an optimal weather condition for you to be, number one, looking at your phone, and number two, having one hand on the steering wheel. You know, again, you're going to come to a point where if you do lose control, you kind of want to try and at least, try and pull yourself back in to control, or try and get yourself veered out of the way if you're going into a vehicle or something. But no, not attention in the world, on the road, and doesn't really care. And more things, he decided to speed up. I don't know why he decided to speed up. It makes no sense. The guy even said, I'm going to probably crash. Now, he probably knew he was going to crash. The way he was driving was a big definite to tell you, holy shit, what is this guy doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you speeding? What are you doing? And the fact that this was all on camera is very funny to me, because he has, if he doesn't lose his license, I'd be very, very shocked. I don't know the laws. I don't know actually where he crashed. I'm not too sure the laws in America. I hope he does lose his license, whether that's for permanent, I doubt that, or he loses it for up to a few years. I'm not too sure, but he definitely should lose it for a significant amount of time. The way he dealt with that situation was incredibly immature. Now, of course, he came out with no injuries. Again, as much as I hate Jack Doherty and as much as he's immature, I hope he's all right. I'm not that much of a arsehole. Yes, he's an arsehole. Hopefully he learns lessons. Hopefully he does learn a lesson from this. I highly doubt it, but I really do hope he does learn a lesson. This is maybe a bit of a wake-up call for how stupid driving can genuinely kill you. Now, the more thing that pissed people off about this more than anything was how he treated his friend. Oh, yes, he had a passenger who was obviously filming everything, and he came off pretty bad. Now, I don't know his the extent of his injuries, but from what the video showed, it looked like his head had been cut up. Again, I don't know if he'd damaged himself pretty badly. Who knows? We couldn't really tell. But from what the video, from what you saw of him, his face was all bloody and stuff like that. And the poor guy looked traumatized. He looked like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened type of face. And Jack Doherty, being Jack Doherty, of course, cares more about content, cares more about the views, cares more about his ego, and cares more about clout. God, they are right when they say clout is one hell of a drug, and damn fucking right it is. Of course, what does he do? He passes the camera to his cameraman and says, dude, you need to film this shit. Motherfucker stood there with blood all over his face, wondering what the fuck just happened. He's sort of stunned, sort of shook. He looked like he hit his head pretty hard. He's all over the place. You can clearly see he's just looking around. He's like, what the fuck just happened? I mean, I would be too, to be honest with you. But this type of stuff, it's very immature. And the fact that you filmed yourself doing all of this, well, you didn't, your cameraman did, is so much funny to me. And his cameraman, I understand he's doing it for money. I'm not going to shit on him. I hope the best for him. In fact, I hope the best for them both. I'm not that type of guy. I know a lot of people really don't care about Jack. I don't care about him like that, but I'm not that much of an asshole to go out and say, I hope you die and stuff like that. come on, that's pretty immature type of behavior right there, and it gets you nowhere. However, I do think Jack Doherty really needs to learn a lesson here, and genuinely I hope he does learn a lesson, because this type of behavior is how you genuinely can injure other people on the road. Thank God that nothing even worked. Well, obviously, some did happen, but thank God this didn't, go to an extreme. You didn't hit a family or something in a car, or you didn't pile up, or, the worst extreme. But again, the immaturity, it's a rear-wheel drive car, I think. This type, doing that sort of shit in conditions where the road is almost like a sheet of metal. It's genuinely, there's absolutely no grip at all at that type of weather. It's just annoying to see the immaturity. This type of stuff, you don't want to see it on this. It's, again, number one, bad. Really, really bad. Being a bad role model. Although I don't know why you'd look up to Jack Doherty out of all people. However, it doesn't help the situation when you're doing this type of stuff. It is immature. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, this is, it isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. It is pretty bad. It is immature, stupid. I think what you're doing, again, I know content is one hell of a drug, and definitely I do think the viewers do end up pushing some creators. And again, I'm not in this case, I'm not saying that the viewers did this, but in some cases, viewers do kind of push creators over the edge to do stupid things, and unfortunately, they fall for that trap and they end up doing them. However, Jack Doherty, for obvious sake, clearly did it on purpose. Number one, he even said he was going to crash. I think it's a lesson learned, this type of stuff. Stop looking, if you are looking up to people like this, you're an idiot, but stop looking up to people like this as creators. And if you don't, then well done. You are smart. You have a brain that many people probably don't who are watching Jack Doherty. Again, I don't understand what was going through his head. Probably nothing, to be honest. A lack of brain cells, clearly. What on earth were you doing? And the fact that after he crashed, all he cared about was filming. I think he even said something along the lines of, I need to film this because I need to make the money back for this car. And the cameraman obviously is filming away. I guess he doesn't want to get fired. He wants the money. I can't really shit on him too much. In my opinion, maybe it's a wake-up call for him to get a new job, because he nearly got killed here. He came off worse off. Jack Doherty, I don't think he had any problems with him at all. I think they got very lucky. It was a total crash. The car's total. The whole front end is bent in. But I don't think it was. It looked like, I don't know what speed they impacted on. I couldn't tell you. But they sort of drifted on. I don't know if he tried to try and control it. But again, it was one of them. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And for God's sake, he won the stupid prize very easily. And again, I just find it funny. Even stupider prize was having all of this shit on film, you committing a crime. Now, again, I highly doubt anything will happen of this, and you will have your account. Yes, oh yeah, that's it. He had his Kick account banned, which is a good thing. I'm very happy for that. I'm glad Kick has decided to take this seriously. I know they've been I wouldn't say Kick has been exposed, but they don't have the greatest reputation for creators. A few creators have been called out for being pedophiles and stuff like that. And Kick just, again, hasn't got the greatest reputation. So I'm very glad they've actually decided to permanently terminate Jack Doherty. And hopefully this is a lesson to him that, again, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But again, in this case, you nearly killed yourself, and heck, you nearly killed your friend. No, I don't know if his cameraman, I don't know if they're friends or not, I don't know. Either way, his cameraman, I don't know if they are going to sue Jack Doherty. In my opinion, I most definitely would sue Jack Doherty because, number one, he's forcing you to film him after you've been injured, clearly. Now, he did ask, are you all right? Are you all right? But it genuinely looked like he just was saying that more to make it look like he was less selfish than anything. He was more concerned about his car. And don't be wrong, I'm not saying he's an arsehole for that. Yes, if I crashed a very expensive car, I'd be slightly concerned about it as well. But then again, I wouldn't be texting on my phone or looking and fixated on my phone enough for me to not concentrate on the road and just drive like an absolute idiot. It's these type of people that we have to deal with on the roads these days. And genuinely speaking, I really hope to God, again, he learns a lesson from this. This has cost him maybe his career. And I really do hope that it knocks some sense into the kid, because again, you're just not cool. You're not funny. You're very immature. This type of behavior is incredibly immature. And again, you could have killed your friend or your cameraman as well. And this type of behavior, I'm very glad that Kick has decided to go, you know what, we don't tolerate this type of behavior. I'm very glad and absolute respect to Kick for deciding to do this, because I'm getting bored of just seeing this constantly online, people driving immaturely and just people acting it very stupid. And it's normally live streamers, in real life streamers, whatever you want to call them, and YouTube creators as well, just acting absolutely stupid. There's a guy called, I think, Squeeze Benz, and yeah, he would drive very immaturely on like weaving. He would dangerously filter, without indicating or anything, and just pretty much dodge and weave between cars on a freeway, which again is incredibly dangerous. And he filmed that all on YouTube. I think he had a Kick as well, Neon, which is another famous streamer. Well, on Kick, outside of Kick, he's about as famous as, God, I don't know, about as famous as you, I guess. But in other words, my whole opinion on this is Jack Doherty is a massive prick, and I hope to God his friend maybe sues, and I do hope to God his friend is good. I do hope that Jack Doherty's good, but it still doesn't change the fact that he is an absolute prick.